I finished this video. I finished this video, but I forgot to turn my mic on. I got bangs. What movie was that from? So, I'm not going to do my intro like I usually do because I just want to get this over with because I got one more top three to do. Then my first mini movie review, well, whatever, of Welcome to the Dollhouse. But today I'm going to talk about my top three favorite Indiana Jones movie parts one through three. My favorites. Okay? Maybe not y'all's, but hey, number two, number one, it was a toss for real. But we would get into that. But first, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Hit the notification bell button when I post some new videos, and follow me on Instagram and TikTok under the same name, Bebe Screen Queen. So let's just get coming in at number three of my favorite Indiana Jones movies from his franchise is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, before I say why that is my number three, okay, I'm going to wear my glasses and I got my notes. All right? My notes. Because I'm going to be looking at it. So, Raiders of the Lost Ark. It is a good adventure storytelling. And it's, basically about a guy who, finds artifacts. And he was on a quest. It's not like he wants to. It's just like, hey, we need you to retrieve the ark. Because you get these Nazis who wants the ark because they want the power. They want to get the power. Fight the power. Okay. Wait, is that the song? Oh, if, I'm a 90s kid, and if I say the wrong thing, so they want Indy to retrieve the Ark, and you got his rival, Dr. Renee, played by Paul Freeman. He's Ivan Ooze from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie.
Ooh, where's my autograph book? Ah!
So Dr. Renee is working with Dr. Arnold and the Nazis. But Indy needs help, and he got help from his former love interest, Marion, played by Karen Allen. The Karen Allen. Love her. And so they went on this quest, and Marion was kidnapped, and Dr. Allen was like intrigued by Marion. So so they got the medallion, and this medallion is supposed to locate the resting place where the ark is located. And so when Indy went to Cairo and met with his friend Shyla, he sees the Nazis digging in the wrong place, and then Indy was digging in the right place. And then God, went down and the stick of Ra, I think that's what you call it, and he put the medallion on top, and then by the sunlight, it located the the resting place of the ark. And somebody said that there's one side of that would say what happens if you retrieve the ark, I think. But anyway, so they got the ark, and then of course here comes Dr. Renee, like with the golden statue from the beginning of the movie. He takes the ark. Okay. And of course, Indiana is scared of snakes. I don't blame them. So let me just cut this short. You're talking about the ending. They capture Indiana and Marion. They tie them to a pole, and you get Dr. Renee, you get Dr. Arnold, and then you get this general Nazi dude, just waiting like for this they had in the ceremony. You got the Nazi soldiers, so they lift up the top of the ark, and they thought there's like a prized possession was going to be in there because it's supposed to be stuff in there, but it's nothing but sand. And then you see like clouds, and then you see lightning, and then all of a sudden, Indy, I think somebody told him, unless he or somebody told Indy that something was going to happen, and or that maybe that dude who told him, like on the other side of the medallion, that it talks about what happens if you retrieve this ark and open the ark, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it was a clue that I don't know. But Indy put two and two together and told Marion, "Look, shut your eyes. No matter what you do, no matter what happens, shut your eyes." And so they did. And so this woman came out of the ark, and you get Dr. Arnold, you get this soldier, and you get Dr. Renee just screaming because before he's like, "Oh, it's beautiful," and then Dr. Arnold's face was just pale and blood, and then the soldier's face was sunken in, and Dr. Renee's head just blew up, and then all the soldiers just like, oh, burning up and just perishing. And then you see this like whole like wind, like flame of wind surrounding not Renee, Marion and Indy, and they were screaming, screaming, screaming. It's like they just closing their eyes for dear life. Me, I think it's just like my time to go to sleep. I'd be like, close my eyes, okay. That's just me. And then you see like the top of the arc, just going back flips, front flips, sideways, side kicks, upper kicks, punch, punch. There you go. And then just landing on the body of the arc, and then that was it. And then Indy just turned Marion around. It's like, you can open your eyes. I'm like, is it safe? Oh, it's safe. And then she's like, oh, they hugged, and then they turned to the ark, and it was nothing but the ark. It's like, daggum, the ark had swept away the evilness away. It's like, I am king. And then they're trying to tell the government, like, we don't need to put it in a warehouse. You don't know what you have. Okay, like, just leave it alone. Like, let's put it back to where it was in Cairo. No, it needs to be studied. I'll say, okay, study it and see what happens. But it was in the warehouse, and it's just, and you see it again in Crystal. Well, they talked about it again in Crystal Skull, and you see the like the picture or the drawing, I don't know what, of the Ark in the Last Crusade. Yeah, so yeah, Raiders of the Lost Ark is a good adventure movie, and it was a start to something great. And I'll have to say, if it wasn't for Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones period, we wouldn't even have Tomb Raider or any other archaeologist movie in that magnitude. I wish it was a crossover though, with like Tomb Raider and Indiana Jones. It's almost like I wish there was a crossover between Eddie Murphy and Whoopi Goldberg, because Whoopi Goldberg played as a cop in Fatal Beauty, and so did Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop. Yeah, so it was a good movie, and I love Marion and Indy's relationship. It's like, oh, I can't wait to see their relationship. Like, if it's gonna keep on going, I want to see it more and more and more. But that wasn't the case because you didn't see them again, right? So that is my number three, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Coming in at number two of my favorite Indiana Jones movie from his franchise is, oh my gosh, this was hard, Temple of Doom. Yes, yes, it was very, very hard because it was like a toss between this movie and Last Crusade. But looking at when it's a marathon and I keep looking at it again and again and again, now it's like I changed my mind because Temple of Doom was my number one. Temple of Doom was my number one. My parents, they liked the Last Crusade better, and I couldn't understand it. And but I get it now. But yeah, now Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. So that lets me know that Marion and Indiana had a relationship, and yeah, they had a relationship, and then they broken up. And then here comes, Temple of Doom. So it's Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the Last Crusade. So Raiders of the Lost Ark set in 1936, and Temple of Doom set in 1935. So basically in Temple of Doom they got to find the Shakara stone because in the Indian village of Mayapur, the Thuggies had kidnapped the children, had taken the stone, and it's like the ark, like this stones. If you get all, was it five or eight, five stones, it will like protect you from evil, okay, and also maybe give you power. I don't know. And so the dude told in Mayapur, who looks like my mama, told Indiana that you got to go to Bangkok Palace to get the stone and to get the children. So they went to Bangkok, to the palace in Bangkok, and the dude, what was his name, Shatter Law, something like that, trying to like gaslight him, was like, oh, what, not gaslight him, but trying to act like you don't know what Indiana's talking about. Then you get the Maharaj who's in on it too, but come to find out both Shatter and the Maharaj is under that black sleep, but they didn't know anything about it. So anyway, after that lunch scene, Willie was not having it. First it was the snakes, then it was the bugs, and then here comes, Willie wants soup, and then it was an eyeball soup, and then here's a monkey brain, and then it's just like, Indy telling Indy, there's nothing that you have that I could possibly want. That he got like a plate fruit plate, and she was eating that apple like crazy. I wish I could eat apple like that, but I'm scared I'm gonna chip my tooth. Shoot, I don't even have teeth, some of my teeth right now. But anyway, y'all be seeing. I know y'all saw it. Don't care. It's life. So come to find out that they end up like seeing the ceremony, that sacrificial ceremony. Man was sacrificed. Mola Ram took the dude's heart out, and the dude looking at his chest closed up automatically, like, the freak, I'm supposed to be dead. And then put him lower in the pits of hell, and he was burnt. And while Molaran was like, Galima, 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 and everybody was like, ho, 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 ho. And here comes Willie, like, oh. And the heart was burning up. And then, what? Indiana Jones and Short Round was kidnapped, and the two prisoners telling like it's a black sleep of a Kalima, that you will drink the blood of the Kalima that will put you in the black sleep. So they did that with Indiana, and they put Short Round as one of the slaves. And come to find out that Molaran wanted those children to retrieve the two Shankara stones. And so now they did another ceremony, and Willie was the sacrifice. Now see, Molaram is a bitch, because he gonna have Indiana, who's in that black sleep, to lock in on Willie. It was kind of funny too, because when she saw Molaram, she quickly covered her heart, like, you ain't going, and he was like, and then it's like to Indiana, come, like, you, whatever. But Short Round was doing his thing. He was kicking butt, right? And so trying to save Willie, and he trying to get Indiana just to understand, like, hey, Indy, we friends, and he just pimp smack Short Round until he burned Indiana, and it woke Indiana up. He said, "You my best friend. Wake up, Indy." And then Indy, came back to himself, and he rescued Willie, and then he decided to get the children. He got to rescue the children, and he did, and that pissed them off to see how the soldier had, one of the soldiers, the thuggies, was dragging that child. It's like, and then he got the keys, and you could see Indy smiling, as he unlocked the change. And I love how the children just like, just one up one thuggy, and then here comes, Indy versus that big thuggy that you saw him in Raiders of the Lost Ark, that wielding the, wielding the sword, and Indiana went, psh. Hey, that was funny. But anyway, so as the big thuggy versus Indy was going on, Maharaj got the voodoo doll, kept stabbing him. Now, see, Maharaj had used that voodoo doll, when they trying to get Indiana to drink the blood of the Galima. Shakti Day Galima. Okay. Galima Shakti Day. I need to stop watching movies. So Short Round connected the two, and he went up to the Maharaj. And then when Andy got the best of the thuggy, just punching and punching and punching, you see Willie's just like, ooh, 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 ooh. So he was punching. You see Short Round punching Maharaj, like, go ahead, Short Round. And so Short Round burnt, Maharaj, and just like Maharaj had waken up from the black sleep, and told Short Round, like, to get out, you got to take the left tunnel. And man, Short Round was kicking the thuggies, but I tell you, kick punch is all in the mind. Like, I hate that game. Uh, and so after all that, then the bridge scene. And I know Mall Around was like to Willie, when Willie was screaming in his face, like, Heifer, what the hell is wrong with you screaming like that? But he just like, welcome. And then on the bridge, Indy was just like the rail, the ropes, cutting the ropes and cut the ropes in half. And he chanted Shiva. Now, see, he thought that like the getting the Shakara stone was just fortune and glory. He was just so money hungry. This would give me money. And so when he chanted, and when he told them all around like you portray Shiva, and then it activated the stones, and then he just got more hyped up. It's like, whoa, this is very powerful. And so Molaram went to his death with the crocodiles, alligators, what have you, and then Indian retrieved the Shankara stones and went back home, went back to the village in Mayapur, and then the children reunited with their parents. Oh, it was just so amazing, and gave the rock back to that homeboy who looks like my mama. I have questions. And dude said that you understand the power of the rock that it has. And then Indy's like, yeah, I understood it. And and that was it. Of course, Willie was just like, after all the trouble you put me through, you think I'm going with you, think again, Buster. I go to home, Missouri, where they never feed you snakes or ripping your heart out, or lower you in the hot pit. This is not my idea of a swell time. Then, excuse me, sir, I don't need a ride to Delhi. If you can't get off something around her waist and pull her in, and you can see her just like me. If that was me going off in the mouth like that, and him pulling me in, like, and then I smile. So like, it's just like you always just run off with the mouth. Just like, it's like, but that's how I feel. That's how I feel. But yeah, so Temple of Doom is a fun movie. It is really a fun movie, and it it explains how Indiana Jones now didn't look at the artifact as fortune and glory. It's because of the Shankara rock that, oh my goodness, like this is nothing to play with. This is not something that you should gain. Like, it's not monetary gain. This is beliefs. Okay, this is nothing to be played with. And so with now I would say that with Temple of Doom, I like the soundtrack of it. I like the timing of their comedy, their comedic timing. It's fun. I would say out of all of them, Temple of Doom is the most fun movie. So I think that's the reason why I like. At first, it was my number one because it was fun. And Key, who played a short round, I'm so proud of him. That is the underdog who became top dog. See, it would take years, but God knew what He was doing with him, and for him to win an Oscar, I mean, that is just, oh, that. Woo. So Temple of Doom is a great movie. It's more fun, and if people don't know, the Easter egg in the beginning, Obi-Wan Club, okay, and Dan Aykroyd made a cameo. Yes, I knew that already. I knew that already. Okay, yes, I knew that. But to those who didn't know, who missed it, it's there. Yes. So that is my number two, 1984's Temple of Doom. Coming in at number one of my favorite Indiana Jones movie from its franchise is The Last Crusade. The storytelling, the acting, Temple of Doom soundtrack is better, but the soundtrack of Last Crusade is very touching on a spiritual level. It is craftily. It was craftily done. It's a masterpiece than the rest of the two, because you get Walter Donovan, Julian Glover, who played in Game of Thrones as the priest, like the Hunch priest, and he was unalive. Spoilers. He was unalive by the kids when the religious cult came. Yes, that's him. Yeah, so he told Andy that the Holy Grail is in. If you go to the Canyon of the Crescent Moon, that's where the Holy Grail is, in the temple, and that's the cup that Jesus drank at the Last Supper. And if you drink, you get eternal life. That means you be young, you would never be unalive or anything like that. And Andy didn't care about that. So he realized that his father was kidnapped and he needed to rescue his father. But see, they kidnapped his father because they got a journal, right? But the whole time Andy has the journal. and he has a journal. And but he needs help to find his father. Here comes Elsa. So they found a second mark, in which was the knight buried, and there's a shield, and that was in his father's Henry Jones Jr., played by Sean Connery's journal. And so after all that, because you got the other uh group called the Brotherhood of the Cruciform Sword, who's supposed to protect the Holy Grail, because they believe in Jesus is the King of Kings and is the Messiah. So nobody ain't gonna touch the Grail. But Indy don't care. He just think that anything that involves God and Jesus is nothing but a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. So rescue the father. Realized that Marcus was kidnapped. Elsa turned her. It was a backstabber, working with the Nazis again, and then found out that Walter's working with the Nazis. So Indy and Henry met up with Shyla so they can rescue Marcus. And after all that battle, okay, they found the crescent, they found the canyon of the crescent moon, they found the temple, and they had to go through the challenges. And some of the soldiers on the other side did, but they didn't make it. And so Walter wanted Indy to retrieve the Grail, but Andy was like, because Walter pointed the gun at Andy, like shooting me ain't gonna make me like. What did he say? Like shooting me ain't gonna do anything, because how are you gonna get the Grail if you're gonna shoot me? And then Walter said, you know what, Jones, you're absolutely right. And they shot his father. Like now, because Indiana Jones, Indy wants to have that good relationship with his father. It's like, yeah, you were there, but I need you there emotionally. It's like, in the part when they was in that little, I forgot. He's like, okay, you want to talk? Let's talk. So what do you want to talk about? And how Henry was staring at Indy, because Indy was like so speechless, like and then pan over to Henry's face. Just like, so what are you talking about? Let's get busy. It's just like he's just a. It's just like it's like Lion King, in the other movies that talks about father and son relationship. Um, but yeah, so seeing his father getting shot is just like. So when Andy was about to give it to Walter, Walter said something profound, and I mean profound. And what he said, let me see, what did he say? He said, and I quote, "You can't save him when you're dead. The healing power of the grill is the only thing that can save your father now. It's time to ask yourself what you believe." Dun, 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 dun. I need to stop watching movies. So, well, I don't know why I put my glasses down, because I need it. Because he had to do three challenges. The first challenge is the breath of God, and he basically decoded this phrase twice. It's like the penitent, only the penitent men would pass. The only penitent man would pass, and then he decoded that again, saying that the penitent man is humble before God. Penitent man is humble before God. And then he said he decoded that again. And when the Kaaba was open, he said, penitent man is humble, kneels before God. And then he kneeled, the blade went above, and then he rolled, the blade went below, and then he got the rope and stopped the wheel. And then he said, I'm through. And here comes Walter said, we're through. I said, Negro, you didn't do anything. Andy did it. We're through. No, you. But anyway, so the second challenge is the Word of God, which you have the floor that has letters, and it is the what do you call it? The name of God, and it's Jehovah. But here's the kicker, though: you can't spell it like with the J, because in the Latin alphabet, Jehovah begins with the letter I. So Andy stepped on the J and he almost fell through. So he pulled himself up, and then he was like, you know, Jehovah begins with the letter I, so he spelled it, and then and then Walter and Elsa got it, and so Andy went through. The third challenge is the path of God, and it says only in the leap from the lion's head will he prove his worth. And so you got this huge space from where Indy's at and then where the grill is at. So he thought that he had to leap. And then, Henry's in pain, so he has to hurry up. And then he realized that, oh shoot, there's an invisible bridge and it's a leap of faith. And then you see Henry and he said you gotta believe, boy, you gotta believe. And then it's kind of like you gotta put your faith in God now. It's not about you. You can't control everything else. So it's kind of like Indy held, he had his hand and held his chest, and I was like, man, if he held the other hand like he's holding like Jesus's hand, and then it would be so profound. But he didn't. So he lifted up his leg and he leaned, and then he leaned, and then he was on the invisible bridge. Now, and for us audience, we can see the bridge, but to him, on his point of view, he can't. So he threw the dirt on the bridge. So anyway, he met the knight who was there for 700 years to protect the grill. The knight wanted Indy to vanquish him, but no. Now here comes Walter and Elsa. Now Elsa chose the golden cup for Walter to drink. I think Elsa knew that that ain't it. Walter drank the cup, and Walter, he went through stages of aging. Okay, but he was strong as a skeleton. Like, and then you see that Nazi badge, and then here comes the night being shady.
He chose poorly.
So Andy chose the cup that represents Jesus because he said that's a cup of the carpenter. I'm like, duh, duh, this is Jesus that we're talking about. Here comes Walter, and Walter saying with the first cup, this is the cup of like King of Kings. Like, I said, I think everybody would feel that because I'm like, this is Jesus that we're talking about. He is a carpenter. So you know that the silver and gold and rubies and emeralds ain't it. Ain't it. So Indy drank from the cup, and nice.
You have chosen wisely.
But the grail cannot cross the seal. That is the price of mortality. What is it? Immortality or mortality? I forgot. So Andy got the cup, made his father drink. He made his father Henry drink it, and he wanted to see if it would heal his wound, and it did. And it just blew Indy's mind. Like, this is the cup of Jesus Christ, and it just threw everybody back. And you see Marcus just doing the cross. It's just, and you see Henry just like, wow, this is the cup that Jesus held. But Elsa was greed. It's kind of like it's fortune and glory to her. But Indy is like, now I believe it's not a fairy tale. And so because Elsa held the grail and crossed the seal, it shook the temple and made a crack in the floor. And then, Indy held Elsa's hand, and Elsa trying to reach it. And it's kind of like you just too greedy. So, lost the grip. Elsa fell to her life ending because of her bad choices. And then here comes Indy. He fell. And then here comes Henry holding him. So, Junior, give me your other hand. I can't hold on. And here comes Indy saying that I can get it, Dad. I can get it. I can get it. And then his father said, Indiana, Indiana. And then the Indiana looked up like a little boy. It's like he called me Indiana because his father always called him Junior. Said, don't call me Junior. And so when Henry said, Indiana, let it go, it's kind of like that little boy's like, oh, he accepts me now. And so pulled him up. And then here Henry saw the knight. Now he didn't see the knight with the shield, but he saw the knight that was there for 700 years. And that's just like, wow, I've been healed by the cup of Jesus Christ. And then seeing a knight who protected the grail, like, what? Like, it's crazy. And that's the end of the movie. And come to find out that Indiana Jones, reason why he loved that name so much is because that's the name of his dog. Because Indiana Jones' real name is Henry Jones Jr. And all of them, Sila, Marcus Brody, Henry Jones Sr., and Indiana Jones, Henry Jones Jr., they right off to the sunset. If I say Henry Jones Jr. for Sean Connery, I'm bad. Henry Jones Sr. Boom. But I like this movie because the storytelling was done, was well written, and it's very engaging, and it keeps you on your toes because you don't know what's happening next. And I know I did feel bad for Elsa, when they threw the books, because this is like during the reign of Hitler, and it's kind of like, wow. And she don't care, even about the Nazis, because she just care about the Grail. But Henry was just like, when you side with the bad guy, I don't give a freak what you think. And but what I love about it, it's like what I say about the Lion King. You talk about the father and son relationship. Now I say with the Lion King, like you don't hear that at all. I meant to say most of the time you don't hear that storyline with the son and the father. Not all the time, but most of the time you don't. So, you talk about like Junior want to get acceptance. Even when young Junior, played by River Phoenix, rest in peace to him, he want acceptance. Like, man, love me like a son. Like, come on, I want your emotional support. But, at least, they have it, and it is what it is. And I think why it's better than the rest of them, even in the box office, it grows more than the other two, is because it's it's spiritual. It questions you: do you have faith to go through a tough journey where there's like where it's like uphill battles? It's like it doesn't go smooth. It's easy, like Steve Colbert said, which is great. It's a gift to be, to live, and come with that gift is suffering. And there's also, because of suffering, there's compassion, and you will have an end result. It's easy to be grateful when things go smoothly, but you gotta be grateful and thankful for the hardship, because it does show you what kind of person you are, how you would endure challenges to get to that end result. And that's where The Last Crusade comes in at. It taught all of us that. Do you believe that your faith will be tested? Indy's faith was tested. It was fortune and glory. He didn't care about the ark that much. But from seeing their powers, and now with the Holy Grail, it's kind of like, I need something to believe in. Yeah, I did cry. Yeah, I'm a crybaby. When you be touched by the Holy Spirit and you're a God-fearing woman, of course, you're going to be touched. There's no question about it. So that is my number one of my favorite Indiana Jones movie, 1989's The Last Crusade. Let's recap, shall we? Coming in at number 3 is 1981's Raiders of the Lost Ark. Coming in at number 2 is 1984's The Temple of Doom. And coming in at number 1 is 1989's The Last Crusade. So what are your favorite Indiana Jones's movie? Put in the comment section below, and I will see y'all next time with my top 3 of Star Wars episodes 4 through 6. Only them. All right? I don't know where I'm going to post that. Just be patient, all right? So peace, love, and happiness to all of you. Stay cool. Don't be no fool. And use the tool of what? Knowledge. Deuces. Bye.